Going Rider, a shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who does not exist. A young loner on a crusade to champion the cause of the innocent, the helpless, the powerless, who is fearless in a world of reckless automobiles. These are Caliente Motovlogs.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? Your boy Chris out on the Gold Wing. And today, I would like to just wish all of my viewers and subscribers that are watching this video, I would like to just say Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all my viewers and subscribers. Man, it is nice out here. It's a little chilly this morning. What are you guys doing today? Are you going to be hanging out with your family? Hanging out with your friends? Are you grilling out today? How many of you that are watching this video put your bikes up for the winter? I ran into a rider yesterday. He said, man, I love the way your bike looks. That is nice. He said, man, I just put my bike up for the winter. And I said, man, I understand. I mean, you know, this time of year, nobody is out riding bikes. For the most part, it's an acquired love. It's an acquired taste. You know, it's easy just to jump in the car and turn on the heat. So I get it. But if you put on the right gear, you can ride all year around. But I don't know, for some reason, riders, they put their bikes up for the winter. To each his own. I ain't mad at you, but I plan on riding my bike. But the question has came up on many occasions, how do you winterize your bike? For you guys that's not going to be riding your motorcycle and you're going to be putting your bikes up for the winter, I can give you a few tips to help winterize your bike. So what are some of the tips that I would offer to a rider that wants to winterize his bike? One of the first things that I would probably do, now many of the bikes that are out now are fuel injected. Now there might be some bikes still around that are carburetor. So I highly recommend that you want to put a good fuel additive like Stay-Bil in your fuel. You want to mix that in your tank. They got different brands that you can purchase. I'm not going to recommend a specific brand, but you can get some Stay-Bil for fuel treatment because you don't want that ethanol cause rust. And so that's one of the things you do not want to happen. So you need to run a good fuel additive if you plan on putting your bike up for the winter. You don't want to just pour it in the tank. You want to make sure it circulates. You know, ride the bike around a little bit, or at least you let the bike run for a while. But I would probably just ride the bike around after I add my fuel stabilizer. You want to get that fuel additive added into your fuel. That's one of the things you could do. Another thing that you could do is, if you can, lift the bike up off the ground if possible. You don't want the bike just sitting on the tires over an entire winter season not being ridden. You know, you don't want to get flat spots in your tires. So if you can, have the bike lifted off the ground. But air up the tires, lift the bike off the ground if possible. Make sure that you add your fuel stabilizer. You don't want your fuel going stale. And if you got a carburetor, that can rust out your jets. And that's a whole nother problem, because then you got to get your carburetor rebuilt. But not so much with fuel injection, but you still want to make sure that you got a good fuel additive. You know, wash the bike. Wash off any dirt. Wash off any crud. And put a good coat of wax on the bike. Definitely do that. And also, change out all of your fluids. So whether you do it at the beginning of the season, at the end of the season, when it's getting into the cold months, but you definitely want to do it coming out of the cold months. Run your maintenance. Change your spark plugs. Change your air filter. Change all of the fluids that's on the bike. On the Honda Goldwing, you got the rear end differential. You got the motor oil. You got your hydraulic clutch fluid. You got your brake fluid, which is the same as the hydraulic clutch fluid. You want to change out your antifreeze. So change out all your fluids no later than coming out of the cold season. It's not really a lot you got to do to winterize your bike. And for most of you that love to ride and you're like me, you can winterize your bike by just riding your bike, not letting your bike sit up. That's the worst thing you can do, is let your bike or your car just sit up. But if you have no choice, because some of these states, like in the north, man, where they have unstable weather patterns, man, you have no choice but to put the bike up. So run your maintenance. Make sure you change out, make sure you air up your tires good. Lift the bike off the ground if you can. Run your fuel stabilizer. Wash the bike. Wax the bike. Put a good coat of wax on it and cover the bike up. And the last but not least, here's one of the most important things you can do. And I might be leaving some things out because I'm just giving you guys some examples off the top of my head. One of the most important things you can do is make sure you put a battery maintainer on your battery. A battery maintainer, not a trickle charger. You want a battery maintainer. You want the circuitry inside of that battery maintainer to be able to stop charging the battery. You don't want to overcharge the battery, and then next thing you know, you kill your cells, and then you need to purchase a new battery. So make sure you put a good battery maintainer on your battery. If you have a lithium battery, like that I'm running, I make sure that I have a LiFePO4 battery maintainer. And on that particular maintainer, you can switch it to regular acid batteries, or you can switch it over to lithium. It does both. If you're going to just let the bike sit up, I would probably just disconnect the battery altogether and just put it on a maintainer. That wouldn't hurt. But make sure you put a good battery maintainer on your bike. Add some fuel stabilizer. Make sure it's circulated good. Run your maintenance. You can change out all of your fluids, especially if your bike is going to be inside. Now, if your bike is going to be outside, I wouldn't change all of my fluids. I would do that coming out of the winter months. If your bike is garage kept, if it's going to be in a garage, even though the garage may not be temperature controlled, if it's not going to just be in the cold, yeah, I'll go ahead and run my maintenance before I shut everything down. Or you can just do it at the end of the cold riding season. But if you're going to be parked outside, you definitely probably want to do this. I would do it at the end of the cold riding season, going into the spring, and change out all my fluids, change out my spark plugs, make sure that's good. And like I say, wax the bike, make sure it's washed properly, put you a nice cover over the bike. You don't want a bunch of dust and things just sitting on the bike, so cover it up. Lift the bike off the ground if you can. And you can live vicariously through my channel by watching me ride all year around. And that's how I would winterize my bike. They were just off the top of my head. So what are some of the techniques and steps that you use to winterize your bike? I want you to put it down in the comment section below. I'm not going to take up any more of your time. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to put it down in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. This is your boy Chris, out on the Goldwing. Out on the Goldwing. And I will talk to you guys later. Deuces. And happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.
Goldwing Rider, a shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who does not exist. A young loner on a crusade to champion the cause of the innocent, the helpless, the powerless, who is fearless in a world of reckless automobiles. These are Caliente Motovlogs.